So, as situations were escalating with my dad, we were getting into this verbal argument, and I was just so done that he kept pushing and pushing. So, I went over actually into the kitchen and I grabbed a steak knife and, one of your small little steak knives. And personally, I just started, slashing myself, right? I cut my arm, cut my other arm, and I did all of it, right in front of him because I was so sick and tired. I was like, you really think that I am not going to do these things, but I'm going to do these things. And, the worst part about it was the fact that I let myself get so emotionally, you know, over the top that I really had zero concern about myself. Um, And so, I still live with those scars. I have them on my stomach, I have them on my arms, and like the ambulance came and stuff like that, and they were trying to figure out like what had happened, right? And pretty much you know, I told them, or at least they figured it out. And my dad, wanted me thrown out or wanted me arrested, wanted me taken wherever. He didn't want anything to do with me from what I could remember or recall at this point. And in a way, I wasn't surprised, but truly nothing actually even happened. So I was never taken to the hospital. Nothing. I just was basically there. Now, there was a lot of people that were in my community that kind of knew some of the situation that was happening, because my dad would leave for work early in the morning, and I'd have to get up and go to school, but he always left before me. So sometimes I would like not go to school, right? I would skip school. And I remember distinctly one time, because I was just so sick of being in that environment where, people like my dad were not supportive of me, and I was like, I gotta get out of this situation. So I packed up my stuff one morning, and I walked outside my house, around my little fence, and I was gonna walk to basically this truck stop. I was going to hitchhike, or I was going to try to get a ride. I was going to try to just get away. And because I had internet access and I knew that my dad was, online, I spent a lot of time, online, whether it's dating profiles or things like that, connecting with people through chat, and everything was a lot different then in terms of how things are now. So really, I just kind of started being that degenerate, not really, doing things, for myself. Um, and at this particular time, when I was trying to run away or trying to leave, I went outside, and there was a neighbor, a lady, who I didn't know, and she was sitting outside, you know, on her porch. And for some reason, when I crossed her, I stopped, and there was just some feeling inside of me. And so I went and I talked with her, or at least we started interacting, and she told me that she was there, specifically for me. And so she was nice enough to to give me a ride to school, instead of watching me basically just walk down the street. Um, but she knew that she was sent there by God, by someone to protect me, because what I was gonna get into was extremely dangerous, right? And she was nice enough to give me a ride to school. But what I failed to do really is, instead of you know taking more of her advice, because this had transpired. We're living next to each other, and she is much older. She has a family, and she has her kids. and she was strong in faith. And the the best thing about her experience to me was that I didn't get the feeling that she didn't care. I didn't get the feeling that she didn't what she was saying wasn't true. I felt that this was a genuine interaction, and as a young teenager, we tend to overlook a lot of the simple or even bigger things that we can come across. And unfortunately, um, I felt like I let her down moving forward because you know this wasn't the last or the first time that me and my dad at the time were getting into fights, having domestic violent fights. And people started to know. And you know because of what was happening internally at our house, I mean, there's definitely a lot of other external things that were going on, but some of those were not anything that I was aware of or anything I had focused on.